My name is Hussain, and today we will be seeing a new chapter, which is the third chapter in the NEET syllabus, the plant kingdom. My name is Hussain, and I will be teaching you this chapter. Coming to the introduction for this chapter, let us start with what are plants and what kind of organisms do the kingdom Plantae include. So previously in the two kingdom system of classification, your heterotrophic fungi, your prokaryotic virulence and unicellular eukaryotic protestant possessing cell walls were included in kingdom Plantae, but now they are excluded from the kingdom. So cyanobacteria, which was previously also referred to as blue-green algae, is not actually an algae. It is actually a bacteria which comes under the kingdom Monera. They're not algae anymore. Yes. So in the diagram, in the pictorial diagram, you can see that the blue-green algae is depicted as a bacteria and not as a plant. So what do kingdom Plantae contain? They contain all those plants which have eukaryotic, which are generally multicellular, which have chlorophyll containing organelles called as chloroplast. Along with that, they have cell wall which is made up of cellulose, hence cellulosic cell wall, and they are autotrophic mode of nutrition, meaning that they prepare their own food with the help of either photosynthesis or chemosynthesis. But here in plants, we generally see photosynthesis only. So in this chapter, in this kingdom Plantae, we will see the following groups. We have algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperms. The kingdom Plantae is divided into two major groups, which are the cryptogams and the phanerogams. The cryptogams include three groups, which is algae, bryophyta and pteridophyta. These three divisions is what cryptogams include, whereas in phanerogams we have two divisions naming gymnosperms and angiosperms. Yes. So let us see cryptogams. Cryptogams have the following three groups: algae, bryophyta and pteridophyta. They are also called as non-flowering plants or non-seeding plants. They do not have seeds. Yes, here are the diagram. Yes. And phanerogams include your flowering plants or seeded plants, to be precise, which are nothing but your gymnosperm and angiosperm. These phanerogams are also called as spermatophytes, which are seed-bearing plants. In gymnosperm, the seeds are naked, hence gymnosperms, and in angiosperm, the seeds are covered with a fruit wall or the ovary wall, and hence they are called as angiosperms. Yes. So now let us take a small quiz and check our factual knowledge. Right? So which of the following are phanerogams? Algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta and angiosperm. So cryptogams include algae, bryophyta and pteridophyta, whereas phanerogams include gymnosperm and angiosperm. So hence the answer is option number 4, angiosperms. Then cryptogams are non-flowering plants, flowering plants, spermatophytes or seed producing plants. Cryptogams are generally non-flowering plants. So it's a very direct question, whereas all the other three options are descriptive of phanerogams. Which of these are also called as spermatophytes? Spermatophytes are your seed-bearing plants, right? So let us see. Option number 1 is algae, option number 2 is pteridophyta, option number 3 is cryptogams, option number 4 is phanerogams. Yes. So we know that phanerogams are called as spermatophyta, and hence the answer is 4. Yes. Now let us start with the first division of plant kingdom, which is algae. We will study about the characteristics of algae, and we will also see the different groups or different classes which are included under kingdom or division algae. Right, starting with the characteristics. So yes, they are chlorophyll bearing. Since they belong to the plant kingdom, they have chlorophyll. The body is simple and thalloid. What is the meaning of thalloid? Thalloid means that the body of the plant is not divisible into true root, true stem and true leaf. Rather than that, they have root-like, stem-like and leaf-like structures. Such a plant body which is not differentiated into true root, stem and leaf is called as thalloid plant body. So algae have thalloid plant body. Besides this, they are also autotrophic because of the presence of chlorophyll, and they are largely aquatic, meaning they are only seen in water bodies. Those water bodies can either be freshwater or marine water bodies. Next, they occur in other habitats as well, such as on moist stones, on wood, and even in soil. Some of them also occur in symbiotic association with fungi in the form of lichen, and even on animals, example on the fur coat of sloth. The algae's form and size is also highly variable. They vary from microscopic form to large plant-like kelps, which are as long as 100 meters. Yes, so this is an example of lichen, whereas this is an example of an algae which is in symbiotic association with sloth. You can see that the fur of sloth is green. It is because of the presence of algae. Yes, so as we discussed, the form and size of algae is highly variable. Some of the microscopic unicellular forms include your chlamydomonas. They are also present as colonial forms. Example is wallbox. They are present as filamentous forms such as your Eulothrix and Spirogyra. On the left you see Eulothrix, on the right you see Spirogyra. And they are also present as kelps, which are massive plant bodies. Okay, these kelps are generally marine in nature or habitat. Yes, so these are kelps. Yes. The cell wall of algae is generally made up of cellulose, but besides cellulose, there are other carbohydrates which are also seen. In addition to chlorophyll and carotenoids, some algae also contain some special pigments called as phycobilins. The reserve food material, once photosynthesis is performed, the food is stored in the form of starch. In algae, you will see special types of starch, which we will discuss when we discuss the different groups. The reproduction in algae is seen in three ways. We have vegetative reproduction, we have asexual reproduction, and we have sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction generally follows the form of fragmentation. Yes, where each fragment develops into a new plant body or a new thallus. You can see here in the picture the fragmentation of Spirogyra is represented. Asexual reproduction is generally with the help of asexual spores called as zoospores. Zoospores are motile in nature, meaning they have flagella, as seen in the picture. Yes, they are flagellated spores, and on germination they give rise to new plants. Sexual reproduction takes place through the fusion of gametes, as we all know. So we have gametogenesis, which is the formation of gametes, and then fusion of gametes, which is called as fertilization, right? So these gametes can be of various types, and based on which two gametes fuse, the sexual reproduction is divided into three types. We have isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Let us look at each one in detail. First one is isogamous. These gametes are flagellated and are similar in size. So when the gametes are similar in size, then they are called as isogamous. They can be flagellated or they cannot be flagellated. So it can be either of them, but they should be similar in size. Such a reproduction is called as anisogamous. An example is chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. Here the examples are very important. So please study the examples. Second one is when the fusion of gametes is between two gametes which are dissimilar in size. One is small and one is big. Such a type of sexual reproduction is called as anisogamous type. Example is chlamydomonas again. And the third type is oogamous type, where it is a fusion of gametes where one gamete is large and non-motile, generally the female gamete, and the other one is small and motile, generally the male gamete. Such type of reproduction is called as oogamous type of sexual reproduction, as seen in wallbox and fucus. Yes, life cycle in algae is generally haplontic, even though haplodiplotic and diplotic life cycles are also seen, but they are generally haplontic, and the type of meiosis which takes place is zygotic meiosis, because it is the zygote which undergoes meiosis. Yes. Now let us look at some of the importance of algae. Half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth, meaning the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is converted into glucose or fixed carbon dioxide or fixed carbon is because of the algae. So half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by algae through photosynthesis. Next, being photosynthetic, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in the atmosphere as well as in the water bodies, right? They are of paramount importance as primary producers. As they are photosynthetic in nature, they act as the producers in the ecosystems, right? Many species of Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum are among the 70 species of marine algae which are used as food. So, algae can also be used as food. Example is Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum. Certain marine brown algae and red algae produce large amounts of specialized molecules called as hydrocolloids. Now these molecules have the ability to withstand, to absorb water and hold water in their cells. Okay. So brown algae have molecules called algin and red algae have molecules called calogene. So these two are examples of hydrocolloids. Generally in NEET, they ask with respect to this as to the hydrocolloid seen in brown algae is dash. So algin is the answer. And similarly, hydrocolloid seen in red algae is dash. So calogene is the answer. Yes. You can see these jelly-like substances. It is jelly-like because of the holding of water. So it becomes jelly-like. Okay. So speaking of jellies, have you heard of this term agar? Yes. So agar is obtained from red algae, Gelidium and Gracilaria, and they are used in the preparation of ice creams, and they also help in growth because they act as growth medium in microbiological studies to grow microbes or bacteria in the lab. They also help in the preparation of jellies, which is a chocolate. Iodine, which is a halogen, is extracted from kelps such as Laminaria. Then we have two important algae, which are unicellular algae, such as chlorella and spirulina, which are used as food supplements because they are rich in protein. So they are used as protein supplements, especially by space travelers. So on the basis of pigments and type of stored food, algae are divided into three main classes. So based on type pigmentation and the type of stored food. So if they have a green pigment, they come under chlorophyceae. If they have a brown pigment, then they come under phaeophyceae. And the third one is red pigment, which is rhodophyceae. Let us look into each one of them in detail. First one is chlorophyceae. The members of chlorophyceae are also commonly called as green algae because of the predominance of the green pigment. Yes, the plant body can be unicellular, colonial or filamentous. They are usually grass green in color due to the dominance of pigments such as chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. The pigments are generally localized in definite cell organelles called as chloroplasts. In algae, chloroplasts are of different shapes. We can see discoid shaped chloroplasts, we can see plate-like chloroplasts, we can also see reticulate type of chloroplast. We can see cup-shaped chloroplast and even spiral or ribbon-shaped chloroplast. So different shapes of chloroplast is present in different species of algae. Most of the members have one or more storage bodies called as pyrenoids, which are located inside these chloroplasts. These pyrenoids are nothing but protein besides the starch. So they are protein which is covered with starch. Some algae may store food in the form of oil droplets as well. Yes. These are pyrenoids, which are seen inside the chloroplast. A point to remember. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall which is made up of two layers, an inner layer which is made up of cellulose and an outer layer which is made up of pectose. Vegetative reproduction in green algae takes place by fragmentation, as we all know. Asexual reproduction, on the other hand, takes place by flagellated zoospores, which is produced in zoosporangia. So they are endogenous spores. And sexual reproduction generally is of all three forms. We can say isogamous sexual reproduction, anisogamous, as well as oogamous type of sexual reproduction in green algae. Yes. So let us look at some commonly found green algae. We have Chlamydomonas, we have Volvox, we have Chara, we have Eulothrix, and we have Pyrogyra. Next, let us look at brown algae or Phaeophyceae. The members of Phaeophyceae or brown algae are primarily found in marine habitats. They show variety of forms, meaning that they can be very small also, and they can be very big as well. They range from simple branch filamentous forms such as ectocarpus to profusely branched, meaning highly branched forms are represented by kelps. Yes, these are kelps which are as tall as 100 meters as well. This you can see a very insightful point is you can see these kelps in the movie Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in the lake Valorant. Yes, Phaeophyceae possesses the following pigments. We have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, we have carotenoids as well as xanthophylls. Phaeophyceae here have special type of xanthophylls. Let us look. So they vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown depending upon the concentration or the amount of a xanthophyll pigment called as fucoxanthin, which gives it the brown color. Okay, fucoxanthin is an important unique pigment which is seen only in brown algae. Food here is stored in the form of complex carbohydrate, usually in the form of laminarin or laminarian starch, and also in the form of mannitol, which is nothing but sugar, which is mannose plus alcohol. So sugar, alcohol is mannitol. The vegetative cells have a cellulosic cell wall, yes, obviously, and they are usually covered by your hydrocolloids, which we saw, which is in this case, in the case of brown algae, is algae. The protoplast contains the following cell organelles. We have plastids, vacuole, and nucleus. The plant body is usually attached to the substratum via a root-like structure called as holdfast, and then it has a stalk-like structure or a stem-like structure called as stipe, and it has a leaf-like photosynthetic structure called as a frond. So this is a classic example of a thallus, where a plant body is not differentiated into true roots and leaves, but a root-like structure called as holdfast, a stem-like structure called as stipe, and leaf-like structure called as frond can be seen. Yes. Vegetative reproduction here also takes place in the form of fragmentation. Asexual reproduction in most brown algae is by biflagellate zoospores, which are pear-shaped. So pear-shaped zoospores can be seen, which have two flagella, which arise from lateral side. Okay, so this is the apical side. If this is the zoospore, the top part is the apical side and the side part is the lateral side. So two flagella, which are unequal in shape and size, arise from the lateral side of the zoospore. Sexual reproduction may be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous, just like your green algae. Yes. Now, union of gametes may take place in water or within the oogonium as well, in oogamous species. Right? The gametes here are pyriform. So, sexual reproduction there, the gametes are also pear-shaped, and here also they are flagellated with two laterally arising flagella. Here also from the gamete, the flagella arises from the side and not from the apex. The common forms include your ectocarpus, diptyota, laminaria, sargassum, and fucus. Now, let us look at the final class of algae, which is rhodophyceae, which are generally called as red algae. Yes, these are the examples. The predominance of red pigment is due to the presence of this R. phycoerythrin. Okay, this is the special type of pigment which gives the red algae its characteristic red color. Majority of the red algae are marine, with more members found near the warmer areas of the tropical region of the earth. They occur in both high light intensity areas, which is close to the surface of the water, and in the great depths in oceans as well, where very less light is penetrating. The thallus of most red algae is multicellular, so they are generally multicellular forms. Some of them have complex body organizations as well. The major pigments include here are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D, and phycoerythrin. So with respect to chlorophyll, in the three classes, if you compare, chlorophyll green algae has chlorophyll A and B, phaeophyce has chlorophyll A and C, and rhodophyce has chlorophyll A and D. Where phaeophyce has a special pigment which is called as fucoxanthin, which gives it brown color, and here it is phycoerythrin, which gives it red color. Erythrin is similar to erythrocyte, which is red blood cells. So you can remember in that sense. The food is stored in the form of starch, a special type of starch called as floridium starch, which is very similar to amylopectin and glycogen in structure. The red algae generally reproduce by vegetatively by fragmentation. So we've seen that with respect to vegetative reproduction in algae, it is generally through fragmentation, whether be it green algae, brown algae, or red algae. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spores, and they reproduce sexually by non-motile gametes. So there is no motile structure seen in red algae. That is a very important point with respect to NEET. This group of algae has sexually non-motile gametes and asexually non-motile spores. So no motile structures are seen in these algae. The female sex organ is a flask-shaped structure called as carpogonium, and non-flagellated male gamete called as spermaceous. As seen in this diagram, here is a representation of carpogonium. Sexual reproduction is only of oogamous type, and it is accompanied by complex post-fertilization developments. The common members of red algae include the Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gelidium, and Gracilaria. So now let us quiz you with respect to what we've studied. First question is, lichens are algae associated with what other organisms? We have algae, fungi, angiosperm or gymnosperm. We all know that algae form symbiotic association with fungi to form lichens. So hence the answer is option number 2. Colonial forms of algae is, we have Gelothrix in option number 1, option number 2 is Pyrogyra, option number 3 is Volvox, and option number 4 is Chlamydomonas. We know that the colonial form of algae is Volvox, which is a green algae, by the way. In algae, reserve food materials is stored in the form of number 1 fats, number 2 starch, number 3 simple sugars, or number 4 none of these. We know that the common reserve food material seen in algae is starch. Isogamous and anisogamous type of reproduction is seen in Volvox, Fucus, Gelothrix, or Chlamydomonas. We saw that Chlamydomonas has isogamous and anisogamous type of reproduction. Meaning, some species of Chlamydomonas show isogamous type of reproduction, some species of Chlamydomonas show anisogamous type of reproduction. So answer is option number 4. So with this, we come to the end of today's lesson, which was the first part of third chapter, Plant Kingdom. And in next video, we will see about the next division of Plant Kingdom, which is Bryophyta. Until then, this is me, HUSSAIN. Thank you and have a nice day.